I'm going to try and figure out if Sabrina Carpenter's Coachella apology was actually sincere, or just a clever move. When it comes to live performances at major festivals, there are few stages in the world that carry as much pressure, prestige, and scrutiny as Coachella. It's not just another concert, and it's not just another crowd. It's a global spotlight where every lyric, every breath, every movement is being recorded, clipped, slowed down, replayed, and analyzed by millions of people online within seconds. In that kind of environment, even the smallest detail can turn into a massive talking point. A brief pause, a missed cue, or a slightly off moment can instantly become the center of internet debate. Recently, one of those moments involved Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter has built a reputation over the years as one of the most polished, consistent, and performance-focused pop artists of her generation. She is known for tight choreography, controlled vocals, strong stage presence, and a level of professionalism that makes her performances feel carefully constructed, but still emotionally engaging. Because of that, fans tend to expect a certain level of precision from her whenever she steps on stage, especially at an event as high-profile as Coachella. During her Coachella set, she performed a medley of her songs. The structure of the performance was fast-paced, designed to keep energy high and maintain crowd engagement. Everything appeared to be going smoothly at first. The audience reaction was strong, the visuals were aligned with the music, and her performance energy matched the scale of the festival. But then something subtle happened that would later spark a much larger online debate. At one point during the medley, it appeared that a section of one of her hit songs was skipped or missed. It was not a dramatic interruption. There was no obvious technical failure that stopped the show, and there was no long pause where the audience was left confused. Instead, it was a brief moment that some viewers caught immediately while others did not notice at all in real time. However, in the age of social media, even a small moment like that does not stay small for long. Clips of the performance started circulating online almost immediately. People began replaying the moment, slowing it down, and comparing it with previous performances. What might have been a simple live performance inconsistency quickly turned into a topic of interpretation. Some viewers believed it was a genuine mistake, something that can easily happen during live shows where timing, sound cues, and choreography are all happening at once. Others were not convinced and began forming alternative theories about what actually happened. The internet reaction split almost instantly into two major perspectives. On one side were fans defending Sabrina Carpenter. They argued that live performances are inherently unpredictable, and that even the most experienced performers can miss cues or adjust on the fly. According to this view, what happened at Coachella was simply a normal part of live music. These fans also pointed out that Sabrina appeared slightly shaken in the moment after the skip. They interpreted this reaction as genuine surprise, suggesting that she realized something went off track in real time. To them, this was evidence of authenticity rather than something staged or intentional. On the other side of the discussion were people who interpreted the moment very differently. They believed the skip or adjustment might not have been accidental. Some suggested that it could have been a deliberate performance choice, or at least something that was allowed to happen for effect. In modern pop culture, where attention is extremely valuable and virality can boost an artist's visibility significantly, some people assume that even imperfections can be strategic. This group argued that the transition after the moment felt too smooth, almost as if nothing had happened at all. There was no visible breakdown, no extended pause, and no clear correction on stage. To them, that lack of disruption made the situation more suspicious rather than less. This is where the debate becomes less about the actual performance and more about perception. Two people can watch the same few seconds of footage and walk away with completely different conclusions. One person sees a simple mistake that was quickly recovered from, while another sees something calculated, or at least intentionally uncorrected. Neither side has direct proof of intent, but both sides build interpretations based on how they understand live performance and celebrity behavior. Sabrina Carpenter's public image plays a major role in how this moment was received. Over the years, she has developed a carefully maintained artistic identity. Her performances are typically structured, rehearsed, and polished, but still designed to feel expressive and natural. This level of consistency creates expectations among fans and viewers. When an artist is known for being controlled and precise, even a small deviation from that standard becomes more noticeable. In contrast, artists who are known for chaotic or unpredictable performances might not face the same level of scrutiny for similar moments. In Sabrina's case, the expectation of perfection made the perceived mistake stand out even more. After the performance, the situation escalated further when Sabrina addressed it on social media. She posted an apology acknowledging what happened during the set and expressing regret for the moment. On the surface, this would typically help settle a situation like this. However, in this case, the apology became another point of debate rather than a resolution. Supporters viewed the apology as responsible and mature. They believed it showed accountability and professionalism. From their perspective, she did exactly what an artist should do when something goes slightly wrong in a live performance. She acknowledged it, addressed it, and moved forward without trying to overdramatize the situation or ignore it completely. This group saw sincerity in the fact that she did not try to deny or deflect what happened. Critics, however, interpreted the apology differently. Some felt that it was too structured and too polished. They argued that it lacked the emotional rawness that they associate with genuine spontaneous regret. Instead of feeling like an immediate emotional reaction, they felt it resembled a carefully crafted message designed to manage public perception. In their view, the tone was calm, composed, and controlled in a way that felt slightly distant from the intensity of a live performance mistake. This led them to question whether the apology was fully authentic or shaped heavily by professional communication strategy. The debate over the apology highlights a larger issue in modern celebrity culture. Public figures today are expected to respond to everything quickly, but also perfectly. They are expected to be emotional but not messy, accountable but not defensive, and transparent but not chaotic. These expectations often conflict with each other, making it difficult to determine what sincerity should actually look like in a public apology. As a result, even genuine statements can be analyzed and dissected in ways that remove their emotional context. As discussions continued, fans also began comparing Sabrina's reaction to her past performances and public behavior. Many pointed out that she has a consistent history of professionalism. She is not typically associated with controversy or unpredictable stage behavior. This consistency was used by some as evidence that the Coachella moment was likely just a normal slip-up. In their view, an artist with a long track record of controlled performances is less likely to suddenly engage in intentional mistakes for attention. Others, however, flipped that argument. They suggested that precisely because she is so controlled and polished, any deviation becomes more meaningful. In highly managed public personas, even small imperfections can be interpreted as intentional because everything else appears so deliberate. In that sense, the argument becomes circular. Her professionalism is used both as evidence that nothing intentional happened and as evidence that everything is potentially intentional because of how curated her image is. Another layer of speculation came from the silence of her team or representatives. Some observers noted that there was no major public statement from her management addressing the situation beyond her own apology. For some, this silence suggested that the issue was minor and did not require further clarification. For others, silence is always interpreted through suspicion. They argued that if the situation had been entirely accidental and straightforward, there might have been more direct reinforcement from her team to close the discussion. Instead, the lack of additional commentary allowed speculation to continue. What becomes clear through all of this is that the debate is no longer just about what happened on stage. It is about how people interpret performance, authenticity, and intention in an environment where everything is recorded and replayed endlessly. The same few seconds of footage are doing multiple jobs at once. For some viewers, it is entertainment. For others, it is evidence. For others still, it is a puzzle to decode. The idea of whether the moment was intentional or not becomes increasingly difficult to answer definitively, because there is no concrete proof either way. There is only interpretation. Live performance is inherently imperfect, and mistakes are part of it. At the same time, modern pop culture exists in a space where attention itself is valuable enough that even imperfections can take on strategic meaning in the public imagination. In the end, the Coachella moment involving Sabrina Carpenter becomes less about one skipped section of a song and more about how audiences engage with celebrity culture today. Every detail is magnified, every reaction is analyzed, and every apology is evaluated not just for what it says, but for how it feels. People are no longer just watching performances, they are investigating them. Whether the moment was a simple mistake or something more intentional ultimately depends on how much weight someone places on instinct versus interpretation. Some will always believe it was just a normal slip under pressure, something that happens in live music all the time. Others will continue to see it as a potentially strategic, or at least meaningfully ambiguous moment in a highly controlled performance environment. What remains consistent, however, is the impact of the discussion itself. The incident sparked conversation, divided opinion, and kept Sabrina Carpenter's performance circulating across platforms long after the festival set ended. In today's digital landscape, that level of attention alone is significant, regardless of intent. And that is perhaps the real takeaway from the entire situation. In modern entertainment culture, the line between mistake and moment is thinner than ever. What used to be forgotten in minutes can now become a global discussion lasting days. Every performance carries not just the weight of the live audience, but the permanent memory of the internet. So when people ask whether it was intentional or not, the answer may never be fully agreed upon. But the conversation it created is very real, and in many ways, that conversation has become bigger than the moment itself. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.